Hey, y'all, this is Stephanie Ann Johnson. Thanks for watching or listening to Couch Riffs, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, and welcome back to Couch Riffs Podcast. I'm your pal, Mike Squires, and this is Couch Riffs Podcast episode number 290. My guest this episode is Stephanie Ann Johnson. Stephanie Ann Johnson, I met last December. We were both playing at Jeff Fielder's birthday party. I spoke with their manager, who we immediately started making plans for them to be here on the podcast. And this was when the time was right. Stephanie has a new album called Sing Baby coming out on October 17th. This conversation was a long time coming. When we met, I didn't know who Stephanie was. I did not know that they had been on The Voice or any of. This is the good part. This is the fun part for me. I don't know shit. I don't know anything, you know. But hopefully, I get to learn something about people. I connect with folks, and hopefully, it is a connective experience to listen and hear people's stories and find things that you have in common with other folks. Or if you don't have things that you have in common with them, maybe you feel certain ways about certain things, or you like one thing. It's a great starting point, I think. What do I know? I had a great time talking with Stephanie here on the podcast. And I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Stephanie will be playing a string of release parties, shows celebrating the release of the new album around the Northwest. There's a Seattle show up on Capitol Hill. There's a Tacoma show. There's an Island show. There may be a Portland show. Please do check out their website for details on that. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you are enjoying Couch Riffs podcast, please support me and the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/couchriffs. That's how we keep the lights on. Money doesn't come in from anywhere. I put probably 3 full days of work into each of these podcast episodes, if you can believe it. It's a lot of work. I'll do it no matter what. But if you're enjoying it and you want to be supportive, I can't even tell you how much I would appreciate it. I could, but I'd be here all day. And I want to get into the episode, so we're going to get started. The only thing I have to leave you with is, don't forget the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And don't be a fucking asshole. So this has been a long time coming. I think we talked about this for the first time last December. Mm-hmm. And it's now October 1st.
Well, the song says time keeps on slipping into the future.
It does. It does. Although it does feel like it's regressing also.
Yes.
What a year it's been so far.
Yes.
Also, I don't know you at all. I only learned, I think last month, that you were on like a big TV singing contest show, mm-hmm. which is like I don't have TV,
right? Bless you.
And I don't do any TV stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure you're tired of talking about it as a part of your history, but I'm super curious about a lot of that.
Okay.
Because it's fucking crazy to me.
Can I run you through my lore?
Go for it.
Okay, personal lore. I like to call it lore instead of history, okay?
Okay.
Because it's fun and because I'm one of these nerdy people, right? Mm-hmm. I'm D&D adjacent, this kind of thing, okay? Okay, so I started singing in the middle school, and then I sang in choir in high school. I won a beauty pageant my senior year. At this time, I was in Tacoma. This was, 2002. Mm-hmm. And so they still had the Daffodil pageant and the Afro-American Heritage Scholarship pageant. So I was pushed towards the scholarship pageant instead of towards Daffodil. And I won that beauty pageant, which got me all my money for college. Well, not all of it, but a good chunk of it, which was great. So then I went down to PLU and I sang with the Choir of the West down there for 3 years.
Pacific Lutheran University.
Pacific Lutheran University, that's right. I graduated. It's real. It really happened. Stayed with my choir an extra year so that I could go and do the Europe tour. So great. One of the friends that I sang in Choir of the West with started working on cruise ships in a barbershop quartet. He comes home from the first contract and is like, Stephanie, there's no reason you shouldn't be working on a cruise ship, walking around, playing guitar, doing your best Jason Mraz impression. Like, we need to get you this job. So they made a video of me playing guitar on the floor in their apartment in right off of Wrights Park down there in Tacoma. And a couple of days later, I got a call saying, hey, did you want to get on a cruise ship and go to Alaska this summer? And I was like, gee, I don't know. I'm supposed to direct Godspell. But I went. And then while I was on the cruise ship, that's how I met a guitar player who is still in LA at this point. And he said, I mean, I just came from playing on The Voice last season. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't have that job either. I met him on my last contract, which was the Mediterranean and the Holy Land. He made a video of me singing and playing guitar in the lounge and sent it to his friends at The Voice. And I got an email a couple of weeks later being like, oh, yes, did you want to come audition in New York or Atlanta? And I was like still on a cruise ship at this point in my late 20s. The thing about cruise ships, people, is that they don't let you cook, and you're not in charge of the kitchen at all. You are consistently presented with buffets, morning, noon, and night.
It's like a casino. I had casino gigs.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I gained 60 pounds.
Sure.
So at my heaviest, here I am on national television. I go and do the like 2 or 3 auditions for The Voice. The one of the last ones I go to before I get on the show, I'm in the elevator and I see this other singer that I knew from Enumclaw because I had directed her as Annie the year before. And we're both in the elevator being like, oh yes, we're both in California for a thing. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good luck.
Because you guys have signed
the thing and we're not supposed to say the words about it.
Right.
But, you know, everybody in that hotel, I mean, at the time, you know, they have like 45 spots for a human body that can make a musical noise to be paired with one of like 4 coaches. Okay. So they have 45 slots and they know that, but they fully bring 75 people and their family down to California.
Right.
So you go do the audition, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I was 28. My grandmother was just in the process of losing her sight. My stepdad was in the process of dying from the prostate cancer. Oh my God. And they both came down to California to be supportive of me doing this thing.
Oh, wow.
And my mom was doing basically caregiving for both of these people. You know what I'm saying? And it was a particularly tough time for me because I'm 28. I lost my brother to suicide when I was 18. And so here I am in California and I'm supposed to be a popular, happy singer. And I've got a closet full of dead relatives and one on the way there. What am I even supposed to talk about? Like, how do I do this? I've also been removed from American culture for the last 4 years, working on cruise ships where the people working there are from 16 different nationalities.
Did you say that the cruise ship was called the Holy Land and it was...
No. We visited the Holy Land and the Mediterranean.
Got it.
Yeah. And then like an 18-day crossing and back to Hollywood, Florida.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big cruise.
Yes. So I saw parts of Spain and Italy, went to put my feet on the African continent when we were in Egypt, to see the pyramids.
Oh, that's amazing.
You go and you look at the pyramids, okay? And the sun comes up, whatever, the tour buses are there. You know, there are people selling all manner of little trinkets made in China. And you look at the Sphinx and it's right there. And, you know, having seen the, oh gosh, you know, the pictures of Louis Armstrong and his wife standing in front of this thing. And here you are too. And then you turn around and there's fully a Pizza Hut.
Burger King or whatever.
I mean, oh my word. The way that I began to understand Americanism as it was seen from other parts of the world while I was working that job, the way that I began to understand the haves and the have-nots while I was working that job, it was a whole different thing.
Okay. Questions. So, I have I started traveling, probably about at the same age as you. Mm-hmm. I know that it's also a blanket statement.
Yeah.
But I think that if folks traveled more,
yes,
saw and met other people,
yes,
even if you don't agree,
for sure,
your perspective will at least shift,
yes,
if not change,
absolutely,
on just the world and people, and
plus the flavors. The flavors, my goodness, when you go to
a Pizza Hut in Egypt, let me tell you what.
I'm talking about being in Ireland and Scotland and drinking the beer that they make over there and what that tastes like. And, you know, sitting in the park in a bar that used to be a bank that's been refurbished to be this huge tap room, and you're sitting outside in the park and the bagpipers are doing their thing and you're drinking a shandy, which is like a little lemonade, little Sprite, and beer. A shandy.
Shandy.
My goodness, on a Sunday afternoon in the park.
Having a real paella.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
A real paella.
Uh-huh. Going to Italy in the Umbria region and going to a bed and breakfast there that's owned by a family, and the windows are open and the, you know, the cows and the pigs that are on your plate, you know, have been slaughtered like over there.
Right.
And, you know, the food is so fresh and you can smell in the air the food, the language, the culture, the way that people feel about music. I made so much more money busking in Europe than I ever did in the States. People would see me walking with my guitar wherever I was. They would see me and be like, oh, gospel singer.
Right.
Yes. If you've got money to pay for it, let's do it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
How long did you do the boat gig?
The boat gig was about 4.5 years.
Wow.
Of going and coming.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Those are contract gigs?
Correct.
So how many trips is a contract?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. I don't know who does logistics for this thing, but it's really an intense type of a thing. Mm-hmm. So I was working for Holland America. They have offices, I believe, in Seattle still. But a lot of the ships are, they have them leaving out of or registered in the Bahamas, this kind of thing. So I had an agent, and the agent finds me gigs, and I could go for as short as 6 weeks if I was filling in for someone. And some folks stayed on those boats 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, this kind of thing. So it really just depends. I went to Alaska and I saw the Northern Lights. I did the ABC cruise, which is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And then I did the whole European chicanery, which was fun.
The interesting thing to me is that, you know, I was a late bloomer to this concept because I was ignorant, but there are so many ways to support yourself as a musician.
Absolutely.
Which supporting yourself as a musician or any kind of artist, I don't think is the indicator of success. but it doesn't hurt.
I occasionally still get asked to come and talk to young people, young musicians, you know, usually high school or college. And one of the things I try to remember to say every time is that you've got to define success for yourself.
Right.
Period. You've got to figure out what you think success is. And then when you hit it, you have to tell yourself you hit it. Because if not, then you're constantly measuring yourself to someone else's arbitrary rules.
Someone else will always tell you that you've made it or that you're a failure.
Absolutely.
And if you believe them, they're right.
Sure.
Right?
If you choose to do that, you know, for me, success is, am I healthy? Am I happy? Am I still being compassionate to myself? And self-compassion and self-indulgence are different things.
Sure.
So learning to treat myself how I would treat my very best friend has been the work of the last at least 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
So you get your audition for, well, I've already fucked
The
this
Voice.
up. It's The Voice.
Yeah.
So you get your audition for The Voice through a relationship that you had with a cruise ship musician.
Yes, I did.
This is how the world works.
That's another thing I say. Every gig is supposed to lead to the next.
Every gig is an audition.
Yes, absolutely.
Present yourself as such.
Yes, and Joan Rivers tells us, on the way up, you got to be nice to everybody on the way up.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see these same people on the way down. Hello? and I love that. And that reminds me to always be that person. 2 years ago when we were playing, my band was playing Bumbershoot. And I think that was the very first time to play Bumbershoot. And it was on the mural stage. And a lot of people working that stage were the IATSE, the union for theater workers and performers, the people that do the lighting and the gripping, all of this kind of stuff. And, you know, several of them were like, oh, I don't know if you remember me from such and such. And it's like, yes, I do. You work at the Pantages right across from the radio station. You've been there. I've been in there. Like, it's really good to see you. You know, this is a good thing because people like to know that you see them and that you remember them, you know?
And that you're not a dick.
I mean, that's part of the seeing and remembering, I think.
It was a straining time. It was an emotionally difficult time when you went to audition.
Yeah.
And I imagine the show films for the next couple weeks, few weeks.
You're there for several months.
Jeez.
You're there for several months while you do filming and such.
Right.
And
it's in real time then, more or less.
More or less, something like this. When you get to the live shows, then it is in real time. I remember being there and clearly thinking, oh my gosh, this person has a better voice than me. And then hearing the next person being like, no, they do not have a better voice than me. What is going on? I was still so stuck in this idea that, you know, it's a meritocracy and it's about who's best.
Well, you're on a contest show.
But it's not about who's best.
Right.
It's about who's popular.
Right. The show is about, like, people have to be able to sing. Let's not mix words. You have to have some quality, some talent.
Yes.
Right? But you have to be able to, and I hate that I am going to say these words, win the hearts of America.
Well, you have to have a good story.
Right.
And this is the same thing that happens with some of these football players, right?
Right.
Because we don't want the, you know, black son of a football player who has had access to the best coaches and nutrition for his entire life. We don't want him. We want the guy that we get to say we saved.
Right.
We want the guy that we get to say we saved, we helped him, we shored him up, we rescued him from the projects. It's a story and it's about marketing. So,
do you think it makes white people feel better too?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Right.
You know, ye old white savior myth.
Right.
Yeah. Some folks want to be a hero, but they're unwilling to confront what they think that is.
Right. Of course.
I mean, come on, like music, like poetry, you know, the word hero, it's what we put on it. It's how you see it. You know, some people, you know, look at somebody like John Cena and say, oh, well, Christ, you know, he's in the new movie with Idris Elba. You know what? John Cena cannot act in a movie next to Idris Elba. It's absolutely ridiculous. But in his show Peacemaker, that is on the HBO and is part of the DC universe, he's perfect. He's perfect. So I think it, you know, where are you willing to put yourself? What are you willing to risk to try something new? You know, how many looks are you willing to shook? How much are you willing to give back? The person to do like the most Make-A-Wish type things is John Cena. That's fantastic. Seeing him do interviews and be unbelievably kind to, you know, the interviewers who are interviewing him. You know, some people where English is not their first language, and he still manages to be kind to these people.
Right.
Like,
I think he's pretty rad.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
And I think that Peacemaker is the best thing DC's ever done.
I think this new turn of coming in
Right.
previously from doing work with Marvel and doing the Guardians of the Galaxy, I think having him come in and give his perspective, the new Superman that they did, I feel such strong feelings about superheroes and how we can use them as a society to have the thought discussions and the thought experiments that we don't have to have with real living people. Let's do it with these people. Let's do it with the action figures. Let's do it with the archetypes, so we don't have to talk about each other's lives like that. And I think that is James Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's on that wavelength, because this version of Superman, we're not watching the coming of age. We're not watching him figure out that he's Superman. We're watching him figure out if he's a man.
Right.
And that is a different and wildly more interesting, I feel, discussion to have, especially now.
Was presented in a conceptual way that can be digested and isn't a chat room or isn't a comment section, although it certainly did. The comment section was poisoned.
I mean, not necessarily fan service,
right,
but a very interesting take. And I would rather have an interesting take than fan service.
I mean, the ideas, using superheroes as ideas,
yes,
conceptual ideas, and introducing the idea that you can be different and get on. You
can be different, and that can be your superpower.
Sure.
You can be foreign, you can be alien, and yet you can still be a hero. You can still be a helper. That is a fantastic thing for a lot of people to get to realize and see themselves, you know? For me, my favorite is in Endgame. You know, they're making the fat jokes about Thor having gained weight and all of this. And he goes back in time and he's talking to his mom, and she, you know, gives him the, you know, we all fail at who we're supposed to be. So just be who you are. And then he puts his hand up to call for the hammer, and the hammer comes and he says, I'm still worthy. And that hit me, and that hit me in my chest. I was in a movie theater by myself, you know, crying my ass off, because I think it's important for us to understand, you know, it's important for us to find humanity in folk who are different than us, from different circumstances in different places, to be able to look at someone and be like, that's a person. I dig it.
Okay. We're gonna
I love it.
This is good.
Good.
How do you look back on your experience on The Voice? Do you look back fondly, or is it all positive?
I used to be real bitter, if I'm real honest.
Yeah.
You know, I was robbed or whatever. But also, while I was doing that, I wasn't necessarily doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
I was doing it because, oh, the cool kids were doing it and I wanted to be cool. And I wasn't even out to myself. So if I'm in a place where I'm measuring myself against somebody else's idea of success, and I am unwilling to tell myself the truth about myself, even if other folk can plainly see it, it's understandable that I didn't necessarily go far.
What is the right reason to do The Voice?
Wanting to be in that environment and being prepared.
Right.
I hadn't seen the show before I got on it. I watched an episode after I was on it and was like, oh. Ooh.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
But I was very into my self-hatred, and I was very into this idea, this one will be different because they can't see me. And, you know, if they can't see me, the thing that people will like about me is my voice, and it won't matter what I look like. You know, that's kind of that, you know, I feel bad for that version of me,
Right.
who is doing so much rationalizing to try to fit in with mainstream clean-cut Americans. You know, that wasn't the place for me. But I'm glad I found out.
Right.
Yeah, because there are TV musicians, but I'm not necessarily one of those. You know, there's circus musicians, there's cruise ship musicians, there's nightclub musicians, there's, you know, musicians that play casinos.
Improv jazz musicians.
Absolutely.
Who are the killingest players
For sure.
that you've ever heard, and they play for 3 people a night.
That's right. Oh, yes. You know, people that are, you know, broadcasters like myself, and Shamika Copeland, her show is on I believe the Sirius radio, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it takes all kinds.
Yeah.
You know, and some musicians, they don't perform. They sit at their, you know, their DAW, the digital workspace,
Yep.
and they create things. And people hear them and love that. That's a cool way to go about it, too.
Yeah, there are YouTube musicians.
For sure.
Instagram musicians,
TikTok musicians. That's right. It just depends on which package you put it in.
Right.
And what you're willing to do. You know, some musicians are very comfortable to, you know, create content for the internet that isn't necessarily their music.
Right.
And some aren't, you know. For me, being true to younger me, what I wanted, you know, Maria in the sound of goddamn music. The hills are alive. And I just wanted to sing and spin and put my arms out. And I get to do that. I still get to do that.
It's great.
It's very great. It's absolutely incredible. I remember when I was playing on cruise ships, I would be playing a song and sometimes I would close my eyes and then I would open it and it's like, oh, that's right. I'm in a tropical location in a sundress playing Beach Boys tunes by the pool. Look at that. Fantastic.
Not a bad life.
No, it's really not.
There are a lot of amazing ways to support yourself as a musician.
Absolutely.
When you left the show, did you come back to Tacoma? Or
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bunch of people were moving to Los Angeles. One gal who was my roommate on the show, Kat Roby's show, she moved from the Carolinas to the Bay Area. And to this day, when I go through the Bay Area, she still comes to a show of mine and we still kick it a little bit. She has what she calls the Misfit Cabaret. And it is a wonderful idea. She, writes parodies of popular music. She loves the theatricality, the costumes, this kind of thing. And she travels with it city to city, plugging in existing talent in the city.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a very cool way to go about marrying your own personal art that you do with the art of the place.
So she has a core troupe and then incorporates local folks.
Yes.
What a way to introduce communities as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that.
I love it too. And that's a great business idea, right? That, I did not think of that. I wish I did. Like, my goodness.
I like to call this a win-win or a no-lose, depending on if you're a glass half full, glass half empty kind of person.
Well, I mean, there's a good feeling that I get when I get to be a job creator for other musicians.
Yes.
When I get to help folk feed their kids and pay their mortgages and whatnot. That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
So, it's still, it's still pretty fancy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I came back here. It was crazy to get recognized everywhere for a while and definitely had some anxiety about it. I'm in Tacoma. I'm with my boyfriend and we walk into the New Frontier and suddenly everybody in the room stops talking because I showed up. Nerve-wracking, scary, very weird.
Right.
And then I went through life for a while assuming that folk had heard of me.
Right.
Because some folk had. But some folk have not.
Of course.
So I feel like it's always better, at least this version of me, I like to err on the side of assuming folk don't know who they're talking to.
Right.
And that's fine. I know who I am.
Sure.
And that's the important part.
Of course.
Yes.
In the wake of that, like, how did you feel? You said you were you had some bitterness.
For sure. I in the same way a lot of, Black femmes, we get the depression and then we think that we're failing. Not that, there's a chemical imbalance and we need to go to a room and talk to a lady with a clipboard. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it took me many years of, drinking and not treating myself well and gigging and trying to, outrun the truth. But, that's not a treadmill that goes anywhere. So I quit drinking. I can't remember the year. But I quit drinking and decided I was going to be real serious about my music and stop hiding. When I started to play guitar, I was like 13, 14. And my first guitar teacher, I was super nervous about playing in public, but of course I had to because you have to. And I asked him, what I should do with my severe stage fright, severe stage anxiety. And he said, well, you have your guitar. You can hide behind it. And so I spent many years doing that, just hiding. And honestly, as safe as that can feel sometimes, I don't think it's a very good way to go through life.
It's not a real shield.
Not really. Not really.
Although I do have some guitars with some chips that out of it that had been actual shields.
That's right.
How long before you started performing again? Did you take time off?
No.
Was it that kind? You were just right back in.
Right back into it.
And were you contractually obligated to perform?
I was not. They have a clause in the contract where, you know, at the time that I was doing it, if they liked you enough, they would give you a certain amount of money and put you on hold. So you couldn't take anybody else's offers. You had to wait for them to decide to make theirs.
Right.
And that didn't happen to me. You know what I mean? It happened to some other folk, but it didn't happen to me. And that's okay. And like I said, I was bitter for a while, but also, then I started working with different folks and I started doing different things. I, you know, for a while growing up being a theater kid, D&D is adjacent. You know, I, for a while, you know, lived under the fantasy that I could, you know, do theater. Because there are some musicians that do theater. But again, you know, people have to look at you. And when you're in a musical, you don't usually get to hide behind a guitar. And, you know, it's not so much that I feel like I couldn't hack it. It's that I discovered, especially when I was down there in like 2016 doing the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, I really like being a singer-songwriter. I like being a guitar player. That's how I like to tell the story. Some other people like to tell the story by putting on tap shoes and kicking their feet in the air. Great. Some people tell the story getting into drag. Some people, you know, tell the story on operatic stages with whole orchestras behind them, all this. There's many different ways to tell the story. And the way that I like to do it, you know, did 2 great shows this last weekend. Give me a small audience, give me a room, give me a microphone, a little amplification for the guitar, you know, and it doesn't need to be amplified if the you know, building is small enough. Mm-hmm. And just let me sing and talk to folk. I'm great at that. Some of that comes from like the last 10 years of doing a lot of church music on Sundays, you know, because those Lutheran checks don't bounce. My goodness, my gracious. And sometimes these people will feed you this kind of thing, and, you know, they'll pray for you and you know, invite you to the community events and such. But what I loved about doing that church music is that people in a spiritual setting are willing to be emotional in similar ways to people at a bar on a Saturday night. There are similarities with how emotional people are willing to get themselves.
Sure.
There's crossover. It's not the same. But these days when I do a show, like the spiritual angle is on display. The year after doing the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, it was like 2017, this kind of thing. I had come back from The Voice. I had seen that there was a group that was doing a tribute to The Last Waltz on Facebook and doing the thing that I, you know, did at the time. Oh, can I sing? And they were like, you are just on TV. Yes, you can sing. Get in here. Let's do things.
Which part did you sing?
I don't remember what I sang the first year. I always wanted to take a crack at It Makes No Difference. But I've done Up on Cripple Creek with those folks. Mm-hmm. The year that Aretha Franklin passed, they had me doing Aretha Franklin's version of The Wait. And it took me a good 3 or 4 months to teach myself her version and be able to sing a semblance of what she does with that tune. And we did that at the Neptune, okay? And so I just remember, I mean, I still, you know, a lot of stage fright, a lot of fear.
To this day?
I'll get there. I'll get there. A lot of stage fright, a lot of fear. I get on stage. I sing the song. I fully, I became on autopilot. My body did what I trained it to do. And I was not in the way. I was definitely in a flow state type of a situation. And people really went for it. They really got it. People were excited. There was a lot of adulation. There was a good write-up about it afterwards. And that experience of being on stage was thoroughly spiritual. I remember writing a poem at the time where I was talking about, maybe I've made, with this instrument I've built, maybe I've made a house for God. Perhaps I too am the church in my being. Super interesting. Real trippy.
I mean, it's not something that hasn't been talked about on these couches.
For sure.
Let me go back really quickly to the stage fright.
Oh, yeah.
My experiences playing those television theaters is that they're not as big as they appear.
Correct.
On TV. Like they seem massive, right? But when you do one of those places, it's kind of, I've never been in one that's bigger than, and I've been in most of them, either playing or as a spectator, and I've never been in one that's the size of the Neptune, but every one of them looks that big on TV.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Well, for me, sure, you're looking in front of you and there's a lot of people and there's a lot of plastic and there's a lot of lights. But then you look up and in the ceiling is a grid. In the ceiling is the same thing that they have in every theater I've ever been in. There's the catwalk. Here's a gentleman who has hung these lights on a big ladder. This is a sound stage.
And so did that give you some comfort?
Yes, that definitely gave me some grounding and some familiarity. Yeah. Interesting. Mm-hmm. The other thing, though, about doing TV, okay, is, and they told us this, sure, there's people in the audience or whatever, but, the girl, she points at the camera and she goes, there's 15 million people in here. That's a lot. Right.
They're not there, though.
But, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come.
Right.
I've done this many a time. Start the show, there's very few people there, and you start the show and you start singing, and I start the show, I start singing, and I have the faith that people will hear me and gather.
Sure.
And often, at a festival, they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's about maybe a little delusion, sure, but also a little bit of faith.
Well, that's the thing that drives every artist of whatever kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe that you're doing what you should be doing.
Yes.
I don't care how timid I've seen all of the sad singers that don't look up and they sing super quiet and they barely touch their guitar. And every one of them will tell you that they, they'll disgrace what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just sort of, kick themselves about it. But everyone believes in themselves. Otherwise, why bother getting on stage? You have to believe in yourself.
For some of us, at least for me, before I started telling myself the truth about myself, for some of us, it's a compulsion. For me, singing was a compulsion, and getting on stage was a compulsion. For better or for worse, a kind of addiction. Like, I wanted that. Gosh, I remember this one guy who was my first boyfriend and also a theater director. We were doing a show. We were doing Into the Woods. And he looks at me one day and he says, "Oh, so you're a spotlight Negro." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't start doing anything until the lights hit you." And then I was like, "Oh, good to learn about myself." good to learn about myself.
I mean, there are people who are always on.
Uh-huh.
And then there are people who are performers. There are people who are stage performers, and there are people who are performers, all 360.
I mean, you see people that are TV and or internet personalities. And then you see people that are, theater people. My favorite thing about the theater as a performer, okay? You enter through the performer's door. You don't say hi to anybody beforehand. You do your pre-show ritual, whatever that may be. Get on stage, you do your job. When it's your turn to bow, you bow. And then you go backstage, you collect your items, and you leave through the theater door.
You fuck right off.
You fuck right off. You don't have to stand around and hug folks and take pictures. I mean, some folk do, bless it.
Yeah.
But that was one of the cool things.
Right.
Just leaving when it's over, being able to go home and put my feet up and have a ginger beer.
Leave it on the stage.
Yes. Yeah.
How many seasons did you do the Oregon?
I did the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for one season.
Mm-hmm.
But then I followed that by doing, Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. I was understudy for that. That's in Louisville. Then also did some work with Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park. And then before that, of course, did some work at the Village Theater in Issaquah and Everett. Haven't ever been on stage at the Fifth Ave, but, one can dream.
I believe in you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll take that.
I believe in you. You know what? I'm going to book a show there just for.
I'm into it.
How long before you decided to record and release music under your own name and have a band after all of this?
I had an album that was mostly recorded and ready to release when I was doing The Voice.
Oh.
And had they, put me on hold or whatever and, slap me with the lawyer thing, I wouldn't have released it. But I did.
And that was immediately after?
Uh-huh. I did shows in Tacoma right after at the Jazz Bones. Oh, I won a songwriting competition there when I was 17, 18, something like this maybe. Absolutely fantastic and terrifying, but my favorite thing.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Jazz Bones.
Yes.
It's a terribly named place.
Yes, it is.
I think it's just terrible.
It's weird.
But the folks who run it have always been super good to me.
Yes.
I used to play there every week with the Rockaroki Band.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was like haunting that place every week with that Rockaroki Band back when it was like only the Tacoma people had discovered it before other folk came in. Who did you play with? Were you with Rockbot?
No, Rockaroki.
Okay.
It was like George Aragon and me, Pedro Ortega, and Leif Anderson. Tiana was the host.
Who was the host again?
Tiana.
I swear I know these people.
This was like 2009 to 2012.
Okay.
So they,
Did you know Big Chill? Did you do the Big Friction Jam?
Oh no, I just did
no. Okay,
that
just
was
the
it.
Rockaroki.
I just was in the Rockaroki thing.
Okay.
We would do,
I used to do Seven Nation Army at that. That was a lot of fun.
But yeah, Jazz Bones. Apparently, have you been to the airport?
The Airport Tavern, yes. I haven't played their new room yet, but I'm a big fan of Dano,
Yeah, me
who
too.
runs that place, and he does Reggae on the Way as well. I just think that I mean, again, being anywhere in the arts and being a job creator, I think it's fantastic that he does that.
I hear amazing things about the room, about the music room and the stage, everything about it. And
Yeah.
people are happy about it. So I look forward to playing down there at some point.
Word.
Oh, we might as well talk about your new record. Now that I know you a little bit,
Word.
we might as well talk about your new record.
Oh, yes.
As life moves on, there must be plenty of stories that you are getting out in your new record. Are there any stories that are closest to you that you feel like you would want to convey here?
Probably the last tune on the record is called Don't Stop Calling My Name. And just about everybody's got a name. And just about everybody's got the name of someone they love who they would call if there were no consequences. And I wanted to tap into some of that because no matter where folk are or where they're from or what their, particular ideology may be, we love. We are creatures of love. We love each other. We love our items. That's why we name them. All my guitars have names. So I wanted to talk directly to people in the song, the way that I sometimes do from the stage, to tell people that I see them and that I know the times are hard and stressful. But you gotta keep, I mean, whether it's ancestor veneration and you want to say the names of the folk that have gone before you, or whether it's your children that you love that are coming after you and you want to call their names as well. I think that, that's a fantastic concept. And I feel really blessed to be able to bring that to people's stages.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I decided a long time ago that music isn't just for hot people in love. Music's for all kinds of people. Music's for everyone.
Sure.
And the more songs that I can make that reach across to different kinds of people, that speak to the oneness in life, I think is a really fantastic thing.
I'm probably getting ahead of myself here. But, and it's probably something that I should do. I should ask off camera, but I'm going to ask you here anyway.
I love it.
I am putting together a nonprofit.
Okay.
To help bring music into many places.
Yeah.
Unconventional places.
I'm into that.
I recently put together a show at the prison in Monroe.
Yeah.
And I want to do some more of that. I want to bring music into prisons. It was unbelievable what I saw happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't have the illusion that it, brought people together there, but people were enjoying music together, and it was very on display either who they have been or who they are.
Listen, if it's good enough for Johnny Cash, it's good enough for you and me.
I think so.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in doing something like that in the future?
Let's talk about it. I'm very into it. I'm very into a nonprofit. I'm very into how do we raise money? We can't depend on the government to make the Jeff Bezos of the world pay their share.
I'm not trying to give Jeff Bezos no more fucking money.
We can't depend on them to go to that man and ask for everything that's ours.
Right.
Okay? But what we can do is I personally feel, pull together our favorite things and enjoy them with each other.
I just want to pay people to make other people feel good.
I'm very into that. This is a great story. A couple of years ago, one of the homies who now owns the Royal Room, Reese,
Yeah.
had me come to the women's prison,
Pretty.
to do their graduation for, the people that were getting their degrees inside.
Did you perform?
Yes, I did.
Oh, amazing.
I'm doing, 30 minutes or whatever, warming up before they start the speeches and doing all the stuff. And you could see the little pods of people's families that had come from other parts of the state.
Yeah.
To sit here and watch their loved one make a step in life.
Yeah.
That was, to be sitting there playing Prince covers or whatever on an acoustic guitar like a weirdo. Like, yeah, that was an amazing moment. That was a cool moment. And to the gals who are running sound that day, you did a good job. Thank you.
Here's the thing about people in prison. It could have been me.
Yep.
I don't know anyone. None of my friends. And I know some good people.
That's right.
I know some great people.
That's right.
But I don't know anyone that wasn't this close to, going to prison at some point.
Yep.
Whether it was just not getting caught or not hitting, not driving drunk and not hitting another car and having consequences and, whatever. So, I don't know. Humans are redeemable.
Yes.
And I want to bring people together.
I'm very into that.
I hope that let's have that conversation.
Yes.
When does your record come out?
October 17th.
Okay.
It will be available. You can pre-order it on Bandcamp. I'm down with Bandcamp. The thing about the other streaming services that we're unfortunately forced to use, when you buy it on Bandcamp, I actually see that money. I see those dollars. I tell people from the stage, when you buy from Bandcamp, the second you purchase an item, they send me an email with your money in it.
Yeah.
It comes to me. So if that is something that you are into, if you want to get this record, it would help me if you want to go ahead and pre-order. That's the thing. Yeah. But if not, look for it October 17th, wherever it is that you get your music, it will be there. Fortunately or unfortunately.
Especially on Bandcamp.
But like a lot of records, like a lot of pieces of art, this was a labor of love, and it was recorded in Jeff Fielder's studio there on Beacon Hill. Bless it. Mm-hmm. There's lots of guitars. There's a little Hammond B3 from Joe Doria. There is harmonica from Chubon Tiger. It's a really fantastic record, and I'm very proud of what we were able to do.
You guys made a video this past weekend?
Uh-huh.
How'd it go? Did you finish?
Yes.
Finished filming?
Finished filming my portion, yes. So great. It's the gal, Daryl, who I believe also directed She Said a couple of years ago at the Blue Taproot, something like this.
Okay.
But female director, female cinematographer, just absolutely fantastic. We were able to get some other members of some local bands, a group called Things Be. They were all there, bless them. And then definitely some people that follow me on the Patreon came and also to be the audience. And then some friends I was in a musical with when I was 20 years old. Oh my God. Those folks showed up too. And a gal who transferred into my high school her junior year. She showed up as well. And when stuff like that happens, and it happens to me frequently, I'm loved. People really love me. And I don't take that lightly. I'm very, very grateful for that.
What a feeling it is to get to reconnect with people you knew when you were living a completely different life.
For sure.
It's like they're anchor points.
Yes.
And really important relationships.
Yes. Yep.
Even if you don't speak to them again for another 10 years.
That's right.
It's important.
Yeah.
What are your plans to support the record?
There are going to be shows all over the Pacific Northwest. We're doing shows in Seattle, in Tacoma, in Port Orchard. We're going to be doing an island run of the San Juans. So it's going to be, we're going to try our best to get it out over the region. And, another thing to add, if you are out there in listener land, if you're part of the viewing public, bless you. If you dig the music that I put out, please share it with 3 friends. Share it from your social media. Talk to folk about it. I would be really grateful for that.
It's hard to gain people's attention. It's a strange time.
Can I tell you how I do it?
I would love it.
Okay. I try to make sure, absolutely sure, that I'm having so much fun on stage, that I'm fully present, that I'm giggling, that I'm engaging. I try to make sure that there's so much joy in my body that folk can't help but stare.
I don't mean live. I mean on the internet. It's hard to gain people's attention.
That's very, very true.
Gain and maintain.
That's right. It's very tough.
It's insanity.
Mm-hmm.
It is insane to gain and maintain.
But that again is is the faith piece. An overnight success takes 10 years. So it behooves one to believe in yourself the whole time.
Can you imagine a life where you are not singing?
No. Mm-mm.
I knew the answer to that before I asked.
I remember being 16 and being, I believe I was with probably Chris Watson. Hey, what's up? We were sitting in his car at the Denny's and, talking about the future and what we were going to do. And I remember saying, gosh, if I can't sing, I would just die. And these people were like, no, you'll find something else to do. Stop it.
Yeah, I think you'll sing for the rest of your life.
Yes. Even if it's only in my shower.
Right.
But probably not. Probably a lot of other places.
All the world's a stage.
That's what Shakespeare tells us. Yeah. And don't forget, like a lot of rock stars, Shakespeare had a black girlfriend and created a section of his sonnets were the Dark Lady sonnets, about his black girlfriend and how pretty she is and how people try to talk shit and say she's not cute, but he knows she's cute.
Is that true?
It's very true. History is our friend. You have to look. You have to look. Everywhere that you think that black people or gay people weren't,
right.
They're right there, man.
Yeah.
Right there.
Of course. Of course. Do you have a release show?
Yes. I believe November 15th is the Seattle release show. It's going to be on Capitol Hill, November 15th at Broadway Performance Hall is the Seattle show.
Awesome.
I'm super stoked for it. I'm going to have a really incredible crew of musicians with me. So please come out. Please come out.
Who is your band?
Oh, okay. So probably going to have Jeff Fielder on guitar. He's absolutely fantastic. If he's not out with Brandy Carlisle or the Indigo Girls or some such like this, we'll get we'll get Jeff Fielder. Then of course there's Sean Crawford on guitar and bass. We recently did a co-writing session. I really enjoy his energy. He's a fantastic human. On drums, William Sage is great, and will be working with us. Have also worked with Faith Stankovic, and Michael Musburger is on the record as well, and so is Aaron O'Neill. And then on keys, it'll either be Daniel Walker, who plays with Leroy Bell, or Jake Seeley, who is also the music minister up there at the Center for Spiritual Living. Awesome. And also when the symphony needs somebody to play a clavier or whatever, they're like, Jake, will you come? And he's like, yes.
You're in good hands.
I am, you know, as the saying goes, I am blessed and highly favored. Oh, yes.
I won't be here for the show, but I look forward to the next time that you're playing and I'm in town.
Please.
I'll be there.
Would love it.
I really appreciate getting to know you a little bit and hearing. I know that we could probably speak for hours on some finer details, but like learning some of the insight into the bigger picture stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is awesome. I think you're great.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
I think you're great. And congratulations on the new record.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the greatest things that life can possibly bring you. Now I'm going to teach you how to hug.
Okay. I'm very into that.
You ready for this?
One last thing though. Dolly Parton, if you're watching, please know that I exist and I love you so much, and you're fantastic, and you're probably one of my favorite singers ever. And I like have a fantasy that lives in my brain of you calling me on the phone and saying, Stephanie, come down to Nashville, we'll make a record. So like, not that might ever happen, but in case it does, I love you, Dolly Parton. I'm thinking about you.
You're available for the phone call.
Yes, I am.
Okay, now this is how we do it.
Okay.
We go left-handed.
Okay, left-handed like this?
Right. This is gonna knock your socks off.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. Now, do you notice the difference here?